Hi, welcome to the Andrew Buckle video tutorial on Affinity Photo and using equations to create a very unusual, colourful design like this. Well, how to start? Unfortunately, equations have got no presets, so I'm going to go through this a little bit later. But before that, I'm going to show you how I actually create the initial design. And this can be using anything, gradients, whole images, whatever. So I'm just going to quickly go back to my initial start point. And my initial start point is just a blue screen like this. Simply then, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some noise to it. So filters, and then go to noise and add noise. Very basic, 100% intensity, Gaussian, click apply. Once I've done that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to filters and again go down to blur and zoom blur. There's zoom blur. And you can see you've got a design there. It just zooms it out all the way from that. And you can set that to whatever. And you can move the origin point if you wish. So click apply. Well, obviously it doesn't look particularly very much now. What you can do, you can go to filters and colors and auto levels. And you get this lovely sort of burst out like that. And I'm going to use that as the source for my equations. So let's go for the equations. And you can find equations in filters, go to distort and equations just down here. Now I'm going to use Cartesian. I'm using radians there. And initial start point is x. X equals x. Very original. And you've got some parameters which are 0 to 1. And unfortunately you've only got 3. Key thing to remember, extend mode. 0 is about the most useless one, I think, personally. Don't know why it doesn't default to the one that's really quite useful, which is wrap or mirror. So I'm just going to set that now to that. Well, once you've done that, what you need to do is put an equation in here. But I'm going to go with something like oscsin. Unfortunately, there's hardly any documentation, particularly, about the functions. Very, very limited. So you can look on, it just isn't much. And I'm going to put Rx and Ry. And you can see what happens there. You've got that one, and obviously I've got Y down there. You can then, I can select that, and I can select that. And of course the end result, not particularly very much, not particularly useful at all, in fact. But what you can do is you can put some various variations in this. And I'm going to put, say, bracket, obviously divide, and then bracket b times 1000. So I've got that, b times 1000. And I'm also going to do the same on the other side. So you've got ry, and I'm going to put divide. And again, as soon as you do that, you can see you've obviously got, it ends up showing an error. It's very weird, that thing. I mean, I haven't finished typing it yet, but it tells me it's an error. I know. So bracket b times 1000. And now bracket around that. So I've still got it back to, and it's still not doing very much at this moment. And now, of course, what I've got here, I can also put, say, let's put 1000 in front of there, times a times 0. And now straight away you can see something slightly different, slightly better. And you can, of course, vary the A, and you can vary the B, and you can see the result there. But what you can also do, you can subtract, or you can multiply, you can do a whole heap of different things, and you can add another factor into this. So what you can do, you can just select that, select all that, and then I'm going to put minus. Obviously now it tells me it's an error again, which is true, and I'm going to put that over there. But exactly the same, so it's obviously subtracting. End result, not particularly very much. But what you can do, you can turn around and say, well, I've got B there. Now, if I had a lot more parameters, I could actually put a lot more in this. But unfortunately, I've only got C to work with. So C, so I'll put C there, and I'll put C there. Now, why am I using Rx and Ry? Well, the reason is you can move them around. You can move those around. Obviously, at the moment, you can't see much. But if I vary this, I vary this. Now, if I move that, you can see I can move that. If I had X and Y, it would be just stuck at that position. So what I've done now, I've got this equation. It's quite a long equation. And you've got Rx, and it's got a B in there. And there's the other part of the equation, which is minus, subtracting. I've got C. So I can vary this now as well. And you can see as I vary this, means now if I could have actually added another one if I had a D and an E, F, etc. to work with. But unfortunately, I haven't. So I've got that, and what I can do, instead of having it just, I don't have to have the other one with Let's just make sure I've got the whole thing selected. Yep, all selected. Then I can paste that one into here, into the Y. And you can see the end result there. And now what you can do, you've got the parameter, and you can see you can vary this parameter there, and you can also vary this. And that will create some slight variation as it distorts over there. And depends, of course, on the underlying image as well. So you can move that. And now once you're happy with that design, and again, like I say, you've got wrap, and you can see there you've got wrap and you've got repeat, which is fine. You can see through there. And also you've got full, or you've got 0, which I must admit would actually quite reasonable. You've got some transparency, which is quite nice if that's what you want. Also you've got go back to mirror, and you've got the mirror design there. Once you're happy with your design, simply click apply, and you've got your design. Now, of course, what you can do, you can always apply it again. Simply go to repeat equations, and you can apply it again, like that. And also, of course, what you can do, maybe use something else. Let's just go for something else, maybe a gradient. So let's just go for a gradient there. And some work better than others, so this may not work particularly great. So repeat equations, and you can see the end result there. Now, unfortunately, because you can't access the values, all the various settings, you'd have to type in the equation here, which is why it's always handy to have notes. Just have notes, and you've got that stored away, so you can quickly, it's very slightly annoying workaround, but it's a workaround where you can just basically go and select that, and then you of course can go back to filters and distort and equations, and you can just bring that equation in again very quickly and put it there. And you see in this case, again, it puts it back to 0, which is not very helpful. Put it back to mirror, and then you can bring blue, the B I should say, and then A. You can vary these, and you can vary this, and so you can see different result from that. And that you can obviously vary the image numerous ways. Maybe use type, different gradients, different other designs, and of course you can vary the design with other filters, and then use this on top of that. So let's just change that, and then push that down. And of course, what you can also do, you can always vary these. If you turn around and think, you know what, I don't want 1,000, I want 2,000. Let's just put 2,000. Just as reasonable. It's not cast in stone, so 2,000 we put there. Or maybe for the Y, let's go for 8,000. So you can vary it. So 8,000 for the Y, 2,000 for the X. And that will add obviously a bit of variation. And of course you can look here and you think, you know what, I've got 1,000 there. Well, maybe I can work with maybe 3,000. And you can vary those. You don't have to have you have 3,000 there, maybe have 2,000 there. And then go to this one, maybe go for 4,000. Maybe 6,000, whatever. So you can see you can vary it. And the variant obviously will change the end result. And again, once you're happy with everything, you can click apply, and you've got your design there. And again, what you can do, you can always use repeat equation, and you can see you can get another result, sometimes better or sometimes worse. Repeat equation, and you can apply it again. Now also what you can do, you've got down here, you've got layer and you've got fade equations. So you can fade it as well, and you can apply a variety of different, obviously you've got blend modes, so you can run through blend modes, lighten, darken, multiply, and so on and so on. And of course what you can do, you can record all this. Again, view and go to studio and macro. So you can always record these steps. So you can always go back there, just go up here and start recording it. So simply go up to repeat equations. That's applied. And then of course what you can do, maybe go and add start deform or something. So distort and deform, that's in the filters. Deform, add some points here. You can distort the design. And so on and so on. And once you've done that, of course, you can then stop the recording. Makes sense, you actually apply it, and then you can stop the recording. So you've got that. What you can do, you can play it back. So of course you can play it back to any design you want. So this one I've got here, I'm just going to, let's go to edit and fill. Just fill that. And of course what I can do, I can vary this again. So add some more noise. Need something to work with. It's not going to be much good if it's just completely solid colour. So add noise. So I've just added some quick noise. Maybe instead of using the zoom blur, you can always, of course, use the blur and go for box blur. Just as reasonable. So you've got a different effect there. And again, because you can barely make that out, go to filters, colours and auto levels. And you can see, okay, not the world's greatest noise. However, what you can do, you can then go over here again with the macro and simply run it. And you can see you can get end result there. And of course you can play it a couple of times if you want, or just undo and work with that design. Well, I hope you found this tutorial of interest. Always adding new tutorials all the time about Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer, Illustrator, Photoshop and many others. Also, if you've got any questions, any comments, please let me know in the comments box. Maybe I did something wrong. Also, maybe if you want the equation, maybe obviously it isn't particularly too clear on the screen, please let me know and I will copy the equation, make it a bit clearer. I will actually just quickly show it before I finish. Here's the equation, so you can copy that down. See there. Probably still can't make that out, unfortunately. That's one thing, unfortunately. Let's just quickly see. I've got here, choose style, just put it heading, so you can see it a bit clearer. So there's, cuts it off, typical. There's the equation there. So if you want to use that, please feel free, and obviously add some variation into it. There's loads of other things, and also there's other functions. Maybe you could add like square roots into it as well. Whole loads of different things. So you could have, instead of just Rx, you could put square root and then Rx times Rx plus Ry times Ry, or even maybe you can put other variations. You can simply, I was going to go and do one, but you can put like bracket Rx minus Ry bracket, those sorts of things, or maybe Rx minus 2 times Ry bracket, and many more, obviously. I say, sadly, the parameters are quite limited, but you can still, of course, have obviously the constants here, the 1000, which you can vary as well. Hope you found this of interest. Please put a dislike or like, always nice, whichever way you want to go. And also, thank you much.